This is Josh from Chicken Fox Productions with Memories of Us podcast. Tony's kicking off the new year speaking with Tina Olexa, an extraordinary multi-talented woman who has experienced different facets of grief in a short period of time. Through her trials, she has developed an app, Your Backup Plan, designed to prepare for and repair from unforeseen circumstances.
All right, everybody. Welcome to the first episode of the year of Memories of Us, the podcast where you hear real life stories of men going through trauma, through loss, and they're coming here to share their stories and to help those of us who are struggling to get a sense of you're not alone and that you do have support out there. Today, we have a peer specialist, Tina Olexa. And she is a developer of a grief app, and she's here today to tell the story of how she got here and what her app is all about. Hi, Tina. How you doing today?
I'm great.
Biscuits.
Alexa's talking from you.
Alexa,
be quiet.
Just so you know, we're going to leave that in there too. You don't get off that easy. Hey, because if it was me, I'd be like, oh no, me and Alexa, right?
Cute. Well, thank you, Tony. Thanks so much for having me on today.
Thank you for being here. And today, just tell everybody how you got to developing your app and what the app does and everything, and how people can get a hold of you towards the end.
Awesome.
All right.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much for having me come on. And I think, it takes me back to the why. Why did I create this app? And why do I continue to be passionate about it and the circumstances? A little bit of background. I'm an emergency preparedness coach, a financial expert. I'm a Microsoft certified systems engineer. I'm a best-selling author of In the Blink of an Eye. Wrote it a couple of years ago after a car accident tragedy. I'm an app developer of Your Backup Plan app. And I wanted, what does it do? Well, let's start with that first.
Yes.
It puts your life in one place in preparation of any unpredictable circumstance while taking the painful aftermath out of any tragedy. We can eliminate the aftermath part of any disability, sickness, death. But we can certainly alleviate some of the pressures, some of the stresses, some of the emotional turmoil that we go through. And that's what I wanted to impress upon everybody, was that it doesn't have to be as bad as it usually is with people.
Yes.
When people are not prepared for something, it never seems to go right. There's either conflict of within yourself, maybe you're trying to recover and you didn't plan for things. Maybe it's a death and no one knows where anything is, or can't get into your house, or the list goes on. But it's just something that we don't talk about. We don't talk about it to our parents. We don't talk about it to our family members. And that's what I wanted to change. I wanted everybody to have the access to be able to start talking about the things that can happen, that can influence your life story, your journey. We are all going to have something happen to us, all of us at some point, but we don't want to talk about it and we don't want to share it. I think that one funny little story I have is I'm divorced now, but my ex, 1 year, he said, "What's your resolution this year?" And I said, my New Year's resolution this year is that you're going to go get fixed and you're getting a will done.
That's a great resolution for a person to
I thought so.
have. Wow, that is pretty good. I've never thought about that one. Like, well, this is what you should do this year.
That was part of my planning process.
I don't even have a planning process anymore. I just get up and just do now. Everything's so automatic for me. But in the beginning, no, I didn't have a planning process. I just went, I got up and I just went, okay, this is what's going to happen. So, tell us a little bit more of the journey of how you got to doing the app.
So I went from there to having a really good, close girlfriend who his husband called me one day and said, Kathy has to go into the hospital for tests. Can you pick her up after the tests are over and drive her back? They had a little dollar store that they operated together. And I said, sure, just give me a shout and I'll go get her. So he called me later and said that I wouldn't be going to pick her up. She was going to be staying in the hospital for 3 or 4 more days for tests. And after that moment, 3 or 4 days came and we got a phone call that she had stage 4 lung cancer and was not coming out of the hospital. So I was determined to continue to go visit her, bring her some real tea that everyone can appreciate instead of the hospital tea and food. And I was so frightened, so paranoid about what the feeling was going to come through me when I would go to visit her every time. Pushing the elevator button, going up and trying to take a deep breath, because the feeling of when the doors opened, what was she going to be like that day? You have hope that one day when you go up that elevator, she's going to look bright and cheery and rosy cheeks and all of those kinds of wonderful things, but it's not a fact. So you're trying to prepare yourself for what you're going to see next. And it always got worse. And in 6 weeks, she had passed away. But in one of my visits, where I took her outside on the patio, she had said to me, Tina, all I want to do is I want to feel the breeze on my face, see the blue sky, and hear the birds. And so that was so profound to me that I thought, here's a person who wants to only be present, who only wants to be beside the person, be in the moment, enjoy life. Not think about, did they do the accounting today? Did they do the income tax? Have they done their cash receipts? Have they, gotten the groceries for this week? Have they paid the bills? All of that stress. She didn't want to think about that, certainly, and she didn't want it to be a part of the life. And so that brought me to where if people are in recovery, or you're going through COVID, or you're trying to rehab from an accident of some sort, or recover from a disease, cancer, stroke, people only want to be beside the person. People only want to know that you're emotionally there for them, that you are loving and kind and supporting and trying to build that person positively up. Not talking about, well, did you pay the bill? Or where's the mortgage payment? Or how do I pay the account? Or where is the accounts? Or where's the key to get into the shed? Or, or anything.
Right.
Nobody cares about the stuff. Nobody wants to think about it, but it's part of it. And so I wanted to eliminate part of that and say, look, guys, if you get prepared ahead of time, you won't have to worry about that. You won't have to think about that.
Yeah.
You will be actually concentrate on the positive recovery or the positive comfort and love that you can provide the person and be there for the person. And so that's what brought me to where I am today, and my purpose and my passion to help people say it doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be, even if you had your crap together, how do you know you have it all together? How do you know you have everything that's going to be needed for whatever might happen? How do you know that?
That's very, very true. Because I know, after my son had passed away, I was doing the same thing. I was keeping myself busy for the most part, but I started isolating. And so what I started doing was that I made myself so busy. I had all of these things I needed to do. But I realized for me too, and for everybody it's different. But for me, it was a way of me not wanting to address what I was going through. And so isolation and like you said, I always had something to do, right? And when my son was in the hospital, it was just as you said, I just wanted to be there with him at that moment. And so I didn't want to think about nothing else. My focus was primarily on him. So for that brief moment, I didn't have to worry about all of that, but then get out of that situation and run right back into it. And life I could never get caught up, but like you said, having a plan actually works. And for most people, we don't.
No.
And grief is something that's as natural as life itself. And but as we all know, we don't talk about it. We refuse to talk about it because deep down inside we don't want to think about it, right? But there's this small little section in us that goes, eventually this is going to happen, and it keeps nudging at you and if gone unnoticed for long enough, then now you're drowning trying to figure out how we're going to pay the bills, right? And it takes away so much. It takes away so much because I'm pretty sure that family member that's sitting in the bed right now or laying in the hospital ICU would rather you be in there than worrying about who's paying the bills. And I love that your app helps people do exactly that. Now you wrote a book yourself, right?
Yeah.
And what is your book called? Tell us about your book.
The book, let me grab it here.
All righty.
It's part of 15 inspirational stories of empowerment for women, and it's called In the Blink of an Eye. And it was after I had a car accident just over 2 years ago. And that's the start of it there.
All righty.
And so it's a short story. There's 15 short stories. It was a best-selling book 2 years ago. And it made me realize that what it felt like to recover. And when you have physical conditions, it's all fine and say, okay, I'm walking better, or my knee feels better, or my foot is now out of a cast, or my bones feel better, whatever it might be. But there's nothing there to fix this.
That's very true.
And nobody knows how this is feeling inside because you can't see it. It's not bleeding and it's not crooked and it's,
Yeah, oh yeah. Some of the telltale signs, and it took me a long time to figure it out as well. You're right. We don't see what's up here, but what we do get is the anger. We get the depression. We get the anxiety. We get where people just kind of shut themselves off from everyone else, their family members. And again, I'm just only speaking from my own experience, and I want to respect everyone that goes through it very differently. But you're right. Up here, no one sees. And since we don't talk about it, no one hears it neither.
No.
But when I tell the men in the group and everything, when their wives are asking these questions, I go, you ever thought that maybe they're grieving? And they go, what do you mean? I go, men and women grieve differently, as we all know. But men, since we aren't taught at an early age to talk, society goes, oh, that's not manly, right? It's not manly to have these emotions. It's not manly to talk about what you're going through. It's not manly to feel these emotions. And I go, it's real funny that we all human beings, but I have to suppress mine and you get to express yours. So having a platform to where men can actually come and actually talk and go back home and actually be able to open up to their loved ones, as you said, being in that moment with them, it changes the conversation because now
Mhm.
you have to acknowledge that the fact of that I'm a human being and I am equipped with the same emotions that you are, and I'm not going to suppress them anymore. You want to
Mhm.
know what I go through? You want to know what's going on in my head? Well, now it's time to talk. And that's my biggest thing when it comes down to grief. Talk. Talk about it, talk about it, talk about it. Cry about it. And sometimes you just got to be quiet. You have to just find somewhere just to be quiet. But having other people around there to understand that silence that you have um, is louder than any conversation that you can ever have. But I love the concept of having an app to go, you know what? Right now, you're right, we're in silence, but I don't have to worry about the rest of the stuff. So I can have this extra time with you, to show that support, to be there, to help you when you need, and pretty much, you know, um, to be that person that you wish that you had when you were going through those moments, right? Because no one wants to go through that by themselves. And like you said, no one wants to worry about the excess stuff neither. Man, I wish that I was around when when I needed it, because I'm sure you know what this is what I'm going to do, and that would have been so handy. So if anybody out there, the backup plan, check it out, download the app, and make sure that you have something in place because you never know what tomorrow is going to bring you. And those moments with your family are very, very precious. And you want to spend those moments with them, taking care of them, supporting them. You don't want to spend the moments thinking about where these bills are going to, how you're going to do all of these things. Get these things in order now. And, so, wow, man.
When you when you think about it, somebody's lying in bed
hmm
in the hospital, and you are spending your time running around trying to see if there's a key that fits into their house,
Right.
or where their stuff is, or do I have time to ask them? I've had clients ask me lying beside the person saying, Mom, where's your bank accounts? They don't want to tell you then because they still think in their own head as they're dying that they're fine and that why are you asking me? It's too late to ask all those questions.
Right.
So you really have to do it when they're well. And so I took it a step further this year. Really, it came to me as I was going through my own grief of divorce and recovery from a car accident. And I had woken up one morning and they said, you're going to promote this now. And you're going to do your own podcast. And you are going to create a course so people know how to use things. So I said, okay, how do I do that? And they said, you have the tools. So I didn't think anything of it. I didn't do it like it was someone, some stranger telling me. It was like it came from me. It was so passionate. So to make a long story short, I'm building a membership program where you can become the emerging blueprint from your backup plan. And it's a library of videos. So you can sit by the fireplace or at the beach someday and just watch a 20-minute video on wills or being an executor, or how to understand your home insurance policy, or how to understand your life insurance policy, or your disability policy, or there's 12 modules. And then the first module is really just the step-by-step to really get you started. Where do I start? How do I do that? And the first module is really basically the only one that you should do just to get started. And all the other ones are just, educational, and, maybe you want to put together your bills that need to be paid so that your guest user, the person that you choose to have access, can then go to it and know how to go and do those things. Or close your social media accounts, or continue your blog. Maybe even you, Tony, would want someone to take over your podcast, and who would you like that to be?
Right.
All of those types of things are all in the different modules. And even digital assets, people have mainly digital assets now. If Aunt Susie dies and you go to her apartment, she's not getting mail anymore. She's not getting the electricity bill. She's not getting the hydro bill anymore. It's all digital. So how do we know, as relatives or family or friends, how do we cancel that? How do we get to know where that is? Where are her accounts? How do we close her accounts? So those are all kinds of things that when you become involved and start being more educated, you will be helping other people as well that are in your life, because you'll see the importance of it, and you'll see how easy it actually is to just take one bite at a time.
That is very, very true. That is very true. Now, with COVID, let's talk about the elephant. I call it the elephant because it's huge now, and so many families are being affected by it. And so, how are you adjusting to COVID? How is it treating what you're doing and everything, and how is it benefiting the people that are actually being affected by this virus?
I think, it's made us all realize that life isn't what we thought it was. And things can happen to us, but now we're at the extreme push in all of our, globally, not just isolated to any one particular area. It's not isolated to brown, white, green, purple, or red, and it's not isolated to age. Even though it affects older people more, it's still not isolated to age.
Right.
And I think it's made us all realize that we need to be more prepared. It really, truly has given us more time to be with our loved ones. It's given us more time to understand the closeness that, maybe we should have, or in some cases, there's more divorces now because
Oh, wow.
Right. So it's done one or the other, but it's made us think about things a little bit differently that I couldn't seem to get through to people before, because everybody's thinking about what trip they're taking next. They plan for that, but they don't plan for what might happen.
That's true. It's really hard to, I love it because even though it's hard to dictate what's going to happen, but I love the concept of being prepared for the unthinkable. When you think about it, because we don't think about it. So preparing for the unthinkable, and that's just a great way to keep yourself organized too.
Mm-hmm.
That's just a real excellent way of keeping yourself organized. Now, you do groups as well.
Yes. So what we're creating this year in 2021 is a couple webinars every month where you become a member and you join on to that webinar that week. And you can ask questions. It will be always different topics. We'll have guest speakers, and it will be really fun to be able to have that access to what's new in family law, perhaps, or what's new in in home insurance in 2021. What's some tips and tricks, and I do have those on my podcast, but the webinar is kind of nice to be able to hear other people's stories or questions or things as well, because it helps all of us understand things better. So that's what's coming down the pipes for 2021.
Okay. Is it going to launch in the spring or fall, or you guys are still working out the details of it just yet?
Well, the blueprint, emerging blueprint, will be coming out in February. So we'll start the webinars. So you'll have access to one or the other. You might be able to choose a membership program where you just want the webinars, and you'll be able to choose the program where you want the whole thing.
Okay. Now, if a person was trying to get connected with you to get into the webinar, is there a website that they can visit?
Yeah. So on your www.yourbackupplan.ca is the website. The emergingblueprint.com will be its separate member login. Okay. And Facebook group, also Your Backup Plan does have a group, a Facebook page, as well as a group that you can join.
Okay. Now, your podcast, what is your podcast called? Let's talk about your podcast for a minute.
Your podcast is Your Backup Plan as well. And I talk to real life people with real life stories each and every week. So this week, I had a lady come on who talked about being sexually abused at the age of 4 from a family friend until she was 13. This coming week, starting today, our podcast is on having a surviving stroke victim, and it's coming up to 4 years and how that looks. The grief that you go through every day, watching the person deteriorate, but still trying to be a caregiver. Right. The week before I interviewed, for hockey fans out there, Theo Fleury played on the Chicago Blackhawks, the Calgary Flames. He played for Colorado Avalanche. And his story about abuse, he was physically abused by a coach for 150 rapes. He had a drinking addiction after, and a drug addiction, and how he's turned that around. And he has developed a trauma course on dealing with trauma in your life. So that was a very inspiring podcast. He's a super, super guy, very heartfelt, very down to earth. And what else? So it's just, I interviewed a lady who had to go in after her dad passed away in his 50s from a heart attack. And she didn't even know how to get into the house. She didn't know where anything was. And her story about how it's 6 years now and it's still not completed yet. All of the stuff afterwards, of paperwork and wills and all of that kind of stuff. It's fun and interesting. I've met so many wonderful, super people. And I'm still trying to get a few more different guests on. I'm trying to work on, if anybody knows anyone, to reach out to them for me. I'm struggling to get a Humboldt survivor. If anyone recalls the Humboldt, Saskatchewan bus that killed so many hockey players last year. And there was a few survivors that I would love to have an interview with.
I do believe I am friends with one of the mothers of one of the kids that was that passed away during that accident, and so I can definitely reach out to her. I mean, she's a survivor, so she may have a story. I was She shares bits and pieces of it on Instagram and everything. So I may be able to help you out in that aspect right there. And I would love, you mean, if you want any more guests and everything, I can definitely pass some your way,
Okay.
because there are a lot of women out there, and I encourage women to come on my show as well. That's, it's not just about the men. I love hearing the comeback stories. I love following the journey. I think it's more personable when you can interact with people in that way, and kind of give people a sense of peace of who you are. And that to me, that relationship, building a rapport with the people that are around you, has been the most important part of growing, and not just growing, but understanding, like you said, this gift that was given, right? And interacting with people and being able to have a service that people will actually benefit from. And that to me, to take something, your tragedy, and turn it into a success story, it's nothing greater than that. There really isn't, because the audience that's listening right now, they'll look at you and go, you know what? Yeah, that's someone that I can relate to, right? And it opens up the doors for conversations. It opens up the doors to be able to help people in so many ways.
Mm-hmm.
Help them stay organized in hard times, and before the hard times, like you said, have a plan B, and just enjoying those moments. Like, you just never know. You might want to go take a vacation or something, right? And I mean, that to me, I wish we all hear these stories. I wish I had more time. And you've created that way for people to have more time. Um, yeah, it doesn't get any better than that.
No, and because I thought after the person does pass away,
hmm
what's the first thing that you think about?
Funerals,
Well, I
the
mean,
arrangements.
you feel the guilt and you feel the regret that you didn't
That's
have
true.
time, or that you weren't there for them when you should have been, or that you didn't spend enough time with them, or that you didn't take the time with them. So anyone out there listening, if there's anyone that you want to reach out to today, pick up the phone and call them.
Yes,
Say hello, because you never know.
that's very true. I just was talking to my sister a couple of days ago, and I told her the same thing. I'm the oldest, and me and my sister, we both our parents are gone. Our little brother, and the one thing that sets me apart is my kid, my son. And I was just talking with her, and I told her, I said, one day I have to go, and I'm okay with that. And she goes, well, I'm not okay with that. So she lives in Virginia. I live in Colorado. So imagine, over the years, I've been out here for almost 30 years now. And so that's a lot of time being away from family and things like that. And so finally this year, she goes, you know what? I think I'm going to have to come see you, just because. And I go, you know what? Just because I love you. I mean, it sounds strange. We tell each other that stuff all the time, but in that moment right there, when I said it, I was thinking to myself, when is the next time? This could be the last time I tell you this. So I want to make sure that you know every step of the way that you're in my thoughts. Yeah, and so when she finally comes and visit, and I come go visit her, trust me, we're not going to be worried about, all the other stuff. Hopefully, we can go find a beach and I can kick her in the water. But
Yeah.
I mean, what are big brothers for, right? But it's the things that we used to do when we were kids and everything before life kind of changed us
Mm-hmm.
and took us on this journey. Your journey of grief has brought you to where you are right now, and you're taking leaps and bounds, and you're helping people. And to me, that act of servitude, you understand, you get it. It's bigger than you.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's where a lot of people, if they can get out of, it's about this right here, and realize it's bigger than that. I think yeah, it would actually benefit a lot of people, and
You know,
keeping that.
it's very detailed and very deep,
Hmm.
but I'm going to give you an experience.
Okay.
Small little one that we do on the webinars that will be coming up. You'll be able to, do it. You'll be ready for it this time. So everybody take your wallet out and put it on the table in front of you, and take a piece of paper, but don't look in your wallet. And write down everything that's in your wallet.
Hmm.
Could you do it?
Actually, I could. For most people, maybe not. But it all depends on the individual. See, I have a small wallet, so I keep very few things in there. I have my driver's license and my debit card. Because I lose things very easily. But that's my excuse though. I lose things very easily, so I only take what I need. Because I'm the type of, if I take it out of my wallet and put it on a table and write down something, a lot of times I would leave it right there and go off and have to sit down and go, okay, well, what just happened? But no, that is an excellent exercise. How many people actually remember what's in their wallet?
Nobody I've ever met.
No.
Because we have reward cards and credit cards and medical cards and all of that stuff has information on it.
Yeah.
So, if you lost, so it's what's in your wallet, what bills that need to be paid. I'll give you another one. Where's all your paperwork? How do you keep all your paperwork? Do you have it in a drawer? Do you have it in a filing cabinet? Where is your stuff?
Oh my God, you would kill me. you would kill me because I write nothing down. I have it all filed away up here. So, but I remember things. I always remember. So as far as planning, when I have it up here and I have a schedule, huh?
It doesn't help you when this isn't working.
This is very true, but I didn't think about that because I have I tell everybody I have a healthy brain, so and I don't ever foresee me losing my memory.
So you're Superman.
Huh?
So you're Superman.
No, no, not at all. You just made me think about that. Like, well, what's going to happen when you get older, Tony, and you got gray hairs coming out and your brain don't work, and things like that. What are you going to do? So now I'm going, well, you did bring up a valid point. I would.
Most houses, most people will say, oh, I have stuff in that drawer and I have stuff in that drawer and I have stuff in the closet and I have stuff in a box in the closet. And I even had a client who had stuff in the garbage can.
Oh.
So I've had, one of my podcasts where the girl had to go to her dad's place and was looking for his will and finally found a safe in the garage, somebody had to get paid to unlock it for her. And there was like Home Depot flyers in there. There wasn't any will. There was just maps and Home Depot flyers. So she paid for a safe to be open for nothing.
Oh no. Oh.
So, where are people keeping their stuff? In a filing cabinet that's not locked, that's not fireproof, that's not waterproof from floods? Where are people putting it? So I've just tried to eliminate that and try and help you security-wise as well in your own home to make sure that it's, not theft they're not going to come in and steal your TV. People are coming in to steal whatever they can find paperwork-wise that has identification on it that they can sell easily.
Right.
So that's what we have to do at home. And why not? Or I had a client they had, a 5-minute wildfire evacuation notice. So what are they going to take? Do they know where their paperwork is to take it? Have they prepared? The app created a program for the home insurance side where you can go around your house and take photographs. So something happened, either in a fire or flood or a home insurance claim, you have photos now of all of your items, of videos of your rooms, so that you can remember what was in the room if you have to start labeling everything, because you're certainly not going to have receipts to be able to give the home insurance company. So yeah, it's a very exclusive, encompasses everything. The last module is absolutely the best. It's called the treasure box, and it's very dear to my heart because it allows you to bring out your creative side and start thinking throughout your days, throughout your years, of what you would like to leave as a legacy. It doesn't have to be money. Because sure, everybody liked to say, oh, Uncle Joe left me, 100,000. Awesome.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. No, it's actually more exciting to find a shirt in the closet that smelled like that person, that now you can embrace and hold and smell. You want to do something that is going to create all the senses. What did their handwriting look like? Maybe they wrote poetry. What did their poems sound like? Maybe they played music. Maybe they wrote songs. Maybe it's just how their handwriting looked. We don't, I guess I got this when I went to a funeral and the dad passed away at about 59 and he had 2 teenage girls. And I was sitting there thinking, it's awful because he was a wonderful dad and the girls are going to remember him, but their kids aren't going to know who he was.
Right.
And their kids are not going to know who he was. And their kids are not going to know who he was. But if you could leave legacies for someone, famous recipes or special recipes that they made, or just there's so many different things in our treasure box that gives you ideas. And maybe you have your own ideas, but it's something, maybe you want to leave that scarf for that person. I always say leave something that you can smell, touch, or sometimes hear. But it's just so wonderful to be able to add that, encompass that creative part into the whole thing.
And you fairly made it easy to have everything in one spot. Now, how easy, say for instance, if a family member needed to get into it, how would that work with them?
So when you log in, you create your own profile and you start entering your information. And part of the app is you have to set up your guest user. So you choose who you would like to have access to it. They are sent an email and then they are given the access to it. And you will know when they log in, when they don't. So if you're worried about that, but really the only worry that they have is to be able to access it when they need to.
Right. So making it very, very convenient for them. I mean, wow. You're right. It's better than going around and trying to pick up everything. Like I said, you would really be mad at me because I have nothing. I mean, papers and everything. I've always, like papers and everything. I remember everything. So then I take it and I shred it. So I don't like a whole lot of clutter. I don't like a whole lot of paper all over the place. So I'm constantly going, okay, well, this has to go and this has to go. But I've had that come back and bite me in the butt so many times to where, well, maybe I don't think I was supposed to burn that, but it was a campfire and I figured it had to go. And apparently I threw away some papers that I wasn't supposed to. But I worked it out. But man, having an app like that to have it right there and go, no, check it out, then I can get rid of all the paper.
Yeah, you could. I start you in the first module with paper, just because you need to get it all together.
Mm-hmm.
So, but other than that, you could actually burn it after if you wanted to, or you put it aside and keep updating it, and that makes you do it for your app. So you can choose. Some people are, want to touch it, see it. Some people want to just enter it into the app.
I like the enter part. Yeah, I really do. I love the convenience of it. And plus, like I said, me and paper, we don't get along. Um, and I like to go camping. So I figured, campfire paper. uh, I'm never the guy without paper. Let's just put it there. No, I got plenty of them. Here, let's go. So they always look and go, Tony, that has all your information. Shh, don't talk about it. Just put it in the fire and just let it go on about its way. And then a couple months later, I'm sitting around going, now, I know that I had that paper that had this on there. Oh well. Yeah, you can only do that but so many times too. Till it comes back and you go, you know what? That was really something that I needed. But no, that is pretty awesome. So, so tell everybody how they can get a hold of you. We're just gonna go through the whole thing. Tell people about your book again, how they can get a hold of you. Um, yeah.
Well, I'm on Facebook under Your Backup Plan, Instagram Your Backup Plan, yourbackupPlan.ca is the website. The emerging blueprint will be attached to that very soon once it goes live. The podcast is Your Backup Plan. It's on 16 different platforms. iTunes to Spotify, you name them all. There's a lot. And on Pinterest, Your Backup Plan. And the app is on Google Play, App Store, as well as iTunes App Store. It's only $5.99. And the membership program will be a one-time fee so that you don't have to continually pay for it every month.
Okay.
And you'll have access to multitude of worksheets that you can print off or do them on the computer that will give you the ability to put your stuff together or put your family member's stuff together. Some people like to write and then take a picture of it. Some people or scan it or put it in a file. But it allows you to have both the experience of the writing as well as just using the app itself.
Okay.
So yeah, for some people, they just like to see it, read it, feel it, write on it. So one of the popular worksheets is, of course, about wills, getting your own wills done, because very few people have one.
Yes.
And the other important and popular item for a worksheet is the family conversation.
Wow.
That allows you to go down the worksheet and tick off the boxes, write in notes, and be able to have that conversation, with your parents or your sister or your brother, and say, what do you want here? What do you want there? Have all of those questions answered.
Yeah.
Parents are the worst because that generation doesn't want to tell you anything.
This is very true. I used to be that parent. No, we're not gonna talk about this. That was my motto. No, we're not gonna talk about this. We're just gonna do this, and then eventually it was like, well, we have to talk about it. Especially nowadays. Especially now. Now, your book. Where's your book available at? And
It's
her
on
book's called
Amazon.
A Blink of an Eye.
Yeah, it's called Women of Worth, and there's 15 different stories in it. And my book was called In the Blink of an Eye, which takes you through my journey of my car accident and making people realize that things can change from the time you leave your house to the time you come home.
That is very, very true. Now, if you had any words for the people out there that's listening to this right now, what would you tell them?
I would tell them that it doesn't have to be horrible. I've experienced with clients both people so upset because they don't know where things are for someone. They don't know how to help them. People don't even know what to say when they don't know, should they be nice? Should they say they understand? People don't know how to answer how to reach out to people grieving. And we grieve for many different purposes. We grieve for any loss, and 2 years ago, I had a car accident. I lost my job. They fired me even though they're not supposed to. I divorced, and I have 2 estranged daughters who don't want to talk to me. So I've had 4 losses in my life that I said to myself, I'm going to help people because I've experienced all of them. And it's about time that and some losses are worse than other losses in my mind, and for yourself.
Oh, yeah.
Although they're supposedly basically all the same. But I had to get out of myself and feeling guilty, feeling bad, all of those terrible things that you think about, feel, and say, no, I've done this for people and I am here to help people, and I am determined to help thousands and thousands of people not go through part of that grief and part of that that turmoil that you go through of feeling regretful and feeling sorry. And no, it doesn't have to be that way. Let's change that, because COVID has taught us all to be more present, all to be more with that.
She's frozen
During COVID.
Oh wow, yes. You was freezing up there for a little bit, so that is perfectly fine. I think we got all of that. Um, wow, I want to tell everybody, if you're looking for someone to help you get your life organized, and just having a backup plan, contact Tina. Get enrolled in the program, download the app, because you never know when you may need something like this, and tomorrow's not promised to anybody. So make the most out of those moments with your loved ones, and take the worry about take the worry and the stress out of trying to figure out your day to day life, your day to day bills, and enjoy those precious moments with people. And so, with that being said, is there anything else that you want to share with anybody out
I
there?
just want to say that anybody out there that I want to be available to help people. They might be grieving for their family member or friend, and if you have any questions, reach out to us on any of the platforms. Send me a message. I'd be happy to help. And thank you for inviting me on your show today, Tony.
No, this was a pleasure. Thank you for being a part of it. It was an honor to have you here, and to share your story and to share your services to people. And I love your heart, and look forward to working with you in a future and everything. And yeah, having a bigger impact in this world, having a huge
We're
impact in this world.
definitely going to,
Yeah,
we're gonna collaborate, everybody. So
that's the goal, right? Coming together as one unit, and being able to serve our communities, and give them something that they need, and it's very well needed and everything. And so with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and take us on out of here, and just hold on for a minute because we'll close out. But I want to talk to you a little bit more about this. So, everybody that's listening today, thank you for staying tuned for another episode of Memories of Us, and reach out to Tina and let her know what you need so she can help you get your life in order. And until next time, you guys have a blessed and wonderful day.
A huge thank you to everyone who have tuned in this first podcast of the year. Don't forget to check out Tina's app, Your Backup Plan, at any app store. And please read her harrowing story, In the Blink of an Eye, in the book, Women of Worth. If you would like to see more content, don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you know someone who could benefit from our page, share it with your family and your friends. We appreciate all your continued support. Until next time, stay strong.